Ladies and gentlemen, wisdom is not about how much we know, but how well we use what we know. Throughout history, strong and intelligent women have shaped the world not just with their words, but with their actions, their self-respect, and their choices. On the other hand, foolishness is not about lacking education or beauty. It is about making choices that harm one's dignity, relationships, and future. Today, we are not here to judge, but to reflect. We all have moments of weakness, but what separates a wise woman from a foolish one is the ability to recognize and correct her mistakes. In this discussion, we will explore 6 key signs that indicate a lack of wisdom in a woman's life, signs that, if left unchecked, can lead to regret and missed opportunities. This is not about criticism, but about growth. Let's begin. She seeks validation in the wrong places. A truly confident woman knows that her worth is not defined by the opinions of others. Yet one of the most telling signs of a foolish woman is her constant need for validation from people who do not genuinely care for her well-being. This could be seeking approval from toxic friends, unhealthy relationships, or even strangers on social media. Instead of building inner confidence, she allows external voices to dictate her self-worth. The problem with seeking validation in the wrong places is that it leads to an endless cycle of disappointment. When a woman constantly looks for reassurance from others, she becomes dependent on their approval. If she does not receive it, she feels unworthy. If she does receive it, it is temporary, forcing her to keep chasing more attention. This is a dangerous game because it puts her self-esteem in the hands of people who may not even respect or value her. A foolish woman may also compromise her values just to fit in or be liked. She may change her opinions, dress in ways that do not align with her beliefs, or tolerate mistreatment just to be accepted. This is not strength. It is a sign of insecurity. True strength lies in standing firm in one's beliefs, even when it is difficult. Social media has made this problem even worse. Many women fall into the trap of measuring their worth by the number of likes, comments, or followers they have. They post not because they want to, but because they need validation. They compare themselves to others, forgetting that what they see online is often filtered and staged. This constant comparison leads to dissatisfaction and self-doubt. A wise woman, on the other hand, understands that true confidence comes from within. She does not rely on others to tell her she is valuable. She already knows it. She surrounds herself with people who uplift her, not those who drain her. She does not compromise her dignity for temporary approval. Instead, she focuses on personal growth, developing her skills, and building meaningful relationships that bring genuine happiness. Validation from the wrong places is a trap. A woman who chases approval will never find peace, but a woman who learns to value herself, regardless of what others think, will always walk with confidence, grace, and strength. She speaks more than she listens. A wise woman understands the power of silence and the value of listening. A foolish woman, however, is often too eager to speak, interrupt, and express her opinions without taking the time to understand others. She believes that talking more makes her appear intelligent, but in reality, it only exposes her lack of wisdom. One of the biggest mistakes a person can make is assuming that their voice is the most important in every conversation. A foolish woman talks excessively, often without considering whether her words are necessary or helpful. She may interrupt others, dismiss opposing views without reflection, or dominate conversations just to be heard. Instead of engaging in meaningful discussions, she turns conversations into a competition, seeking to prove herself rather than learn from others. The problem with this behavior is that it creates distance between her and those around her. People may start avoiding deep conversations with her because they know she will not listen. They may feel unheard, disrespected, or even frustrated by her constant need to be the center of attention. Over time, this weakens her relationships, both personal and professional. A foolish woman also tends to speak impulsively, saying things she later regrets. Whether it is gossip, unnecessary complaints, or words spoken in anger, her inability to control her tongue often leads to problems. She may damage friendships, create misunderstandings, or even hurt her own reputation. Words once spoken cannot be taken back, and a wise woman understands this well. In contrast, a smart woman knows that listening is a skill that brings knowledge, understanding, and respect. When she listens, she learns not just about others, but about life itself. She asks thoughtful questions, considers different perspectives, and speaks only when she has something valuable to say. She does not interrupt but allows conversations to flow naturally. This makes her more respected and trusted by those around her. True intelligence is not about how much one speaks, but how well one understands. A woman who listens carefully before she speaks shows wisdom, patience, and emotional strength. A woman who talks without thinking, however, often reveals nothing but her own foolishness. She lets her emotions control her actions. Emotions are a natural part of life. They give depth to our experiences and help us connect with others. However, when emotions control decisions and actions without balance, they become dangerous. A foolish woman is one who allows her emotions, whether anger, jealousy, or impulsiveness, to dictate her choices, often leading to regret and unnecessary problems. One of the clearest signs of emotional immaturity is reacting without thinking. A foolish woman may lash out in anger, say hurtful things in the heat of the moment, or make impulsive decisions just to satisfy her feelings in the present. She does not pause to consider the long-term consequences of her actions. Whether it's ruining relationships, damaging her reputation, or missing opportunities, her lack of self-control often leads to setbacks. For example, jealousy can push a woman to compare herself to others, leading to unnecessary bitterness and insecurity. Instead of focusing on her own growth, she wastes time envying what others have. This can make her act in ways that harm her relationships, whether through gossip, unnecessary competition, or resentment. A wise woman, on the other hand, understands that another person's success does not take away from her own. Instead of feeling threatened, she learns and grows. Similarly, a foolish woman may struggle with patience. She may expect instant results in her career, relationships, or personal goals. When things don't go her way, she becomes frustrated, blaming others or giving up too quickly. A wise woman, however, knows that success requires endurance, calmness, and resilience. She does not let temporary emotions push her into making permanent mistakes. One of the most dangerous emotional weaknesses is acting based on fear. A woman who lets fear control her may avoid necessary risks, stay in toxic situations, or make choices that limit her potential. Fear can keep her from speaking up when needed, from chasing her dreams, or from standing up for herself. Wisdom teaches that courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to move forward despite it. In contrast, a woman with emotional intelligence knows when to express her feelings and when to control them. She takes a step back, reflects, and chooses her words and actions wisely. She understands that self-control is a sign of strength, not weakness. A truly wise woman does not let emotions lead her, she leads her emotions. She surrounds herself with negative influences. The people we choose to keep in our lives shape our thoughts, attitudes, and future. A foolish woman fails to recognize this and surrounds herself with negative influences, friends who bring drama, relationships that drain her energy, and environments that encourage bad habits. Instead of uplifting herself, she allows toxic people to pull her down, limiting her growth and happiness. A wise woman understands that her company directly affects her mindset. She knows that if she constantly surrounds herself with people who gossip, complain, or lack ambition, she will eventually adopt the same behaviors. But a foolish woman either ignores this truth or refuses to take action, believing she can remain unaffected. Unfortunately, negativity is contagious. It influences the way we think, the choices we make, and even the way we see ourselves. One of the most common mistakes a foolish woman makes is keeping toxic friendships. She may have friends who discourage her from growing, who talk behind her back, or who only come around when they need something. These are people who drain her energy rather than add value to her life. Yet she holds on to them, perhaps out of fear of being alone or out of habit, without realizing the harm they cause. Another major influence in a woman's life is the kind of romantic relationship she entertains. A foolish woman may tolerate disrespectful behavior, settle for less than she deserves, or remain in an unhealthy relationship simply because she fears starting over. Instead of choosing a partner who supports her growth, she may fall into patterns of emotional dependence, mistaking attachment for love. A wise woman, however, understands that a strong relationship should empower her, not weaken her. She values herself enough to walk away from those who do not treat her with respect. Beyond friendships and relationships, the environment a woman immerses herself in also plays a significant role. A foolish woman may consume negative content, whether through social media, television, or unhealthy conversations that fills her mind with unrealistic expectations, false comparisons, and unnecessary stress. If she constantly feeds herself with negativity, drama, and chaos, it will eventually reflect in her thoughts and actions. A wise woman, however, carefully curates the influences around her. She surrounds herself with people who inspire her to be better. She seeks out mentors, friendships, and relationships that encourage growth, positivity, and wisdom. She understands that true strength comes from being selective about who and what she allows into her life. The truth is, we become a reflection of the company we keep. A foolish woman surrounds herself with negativity and then wonders why she struggles with peace and progress. A wise woman, however, chooses wisely, knowing that the right influences can elevate her life in ways she never imagined. She does not learn from her mistakes. Mistakes are a part of life. They are not something to be ashamed of, rather they are opportunities for growth and learning. However, a foolish woman does not recognize this. Instead of reflecting on her errors and making changes, she repeats the same mistakes over and over again, blaming others or her circumstances instead of taking responsibility. This cycle of poor decision-making keeps her stuck, preventing her from reaching her full potential. One of the most telling signs of a foolish woman is her unwillingness to accept responsibility for her actions. When something goes wrong, she looks for someone to blame: her family, her friends, society, or even fate. Instead of asking, "What can I learn from this?" she asks, "Why does this always happen to me?" This victim mentality keeps her from growing because she never takes control of her own life. A wise woman, on the other hand, understands that taking responsibility is not about guilt, it is about power. Life teaches the same lessons until we are ready to learn them. A foolish woman will keep running into the same walls, facing the same problems, and feeling the same frustrations until she decides to take responsibility for her actions. A wise woman, however, sees every mistake as a stepping stone to wisdom. She understands that the ability to grow, adapt, and change is what truly defines intelligence. A woman who learns from her mistakes gains strength, wisdom, and confidence. A woman who does not remain trapped in the same struggles, wondering why life never seems to improve. The choice is always in her hands.